There is here at World Travel Market in London a real sense of excitement, as though we've put all the horrible COVID pandemic and all the great upset and shutdown of travel that we had for so long. That's kind of gradually getting behind us, and everyone is now absolutely focused on the future. And that's, I think, very exciting. People are very keen, clearly, to travel. There's a lot of talk of pent-up demand. I would actually say that there's reinforced demand. We've realized during the years of lockdown how much we value travel experiences, whether that is just a fortnight on the beach, or it's going on a great expedition, or pampering ourselves in a wellness location. It's all of these things are just much more important now to us than possessions. And so I think travel has a bright future.
And I know you've said it's got a bright future, but do you feel that the increased demand for travel will return to 2019 sort of pre-pandemic levels, despite of the cost of living crisis?
All the evidence is that we are desperate to travel, and that's not just because we want to catch up on lost sunshine. There is certainly an element of that, but I think we've just had a reappraisal of what travel means, and therefore, and I can, unlike you, go back many decades to situations where British travellers have been really the poor men and women of Europe, and yet we have continued to travel in large numbers because we value it so much. And yes, the cost of living crisis is having a terrible effect on many people up and down the land. But those of us who are lucky enough to be able to travel can find better value by trimming our horizons a little, by changing the way that we travel a little. And so I think there is most definitely an appetite for travel, which will be satisfied in some way or other. And of course, the other thing the COVID pandemic has taught us is that there's an awful lot to be appreciated closer to home.
Mm-hmm. And I just have a couple more questions about, obviously it's COP27 is kind of underway at the minute. Is there anything in place for sort of airlines getting more environmentally friendly in light of climate?
The travel industry is talking a huge amount about sustainability. Some of it, I must say, sounds to me like greenwashing, but actually the general trend is towards reducing the impact of travel on the environment. It's never going to have a zero impact, however much we would all want it. But tourism, international tourism, is an immense force for good, and we have to come up with a way of having the opportunity to travel, to have those great experiences, to feel enriched by them, and to enrich the locations to which we travel, at the same time as limiting our impact on the planet and indeed on the communities that we visit in terms of, for example, over tourism. But I'm very optimistic that solutions will be found.
All right. Okay. I actually do have one more question.
Yeah.
So ahead of next summer, obviously expecting another surge of people wanting to travel like there was this year, and obviously all the queues. Is there anything in place now to prevent that excessive queuing?
We've had a pretty painful rebirth of travel all the way through 2022. Remember, it's only 8 months since the brakes came off, since Britain removed all travel restrictions on returning to the UK. So in that time, there have been a significant number of people who've had really awful experiences, and I'm so sorry that that is the case. There's been millions of us who've had basically a pain-free trip, and we're delighted to get back to that. Yes, I think the travel industry is absolutely determined to deliver fantastic service, and that will get better and better as we move towards summer 2023. However, as always in travel, hope for the best. It almost certainly will turn out like that, but do be prepared for a little bit of delay and disruption.